Hey guys, today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I have a little outing that I'm about to go to, so I thought this would be a great time to do a get ready with me because it's been a little while since I've done one of those. So I don't really have anything planned, I'm just going to start getting ready and have a chat as I go. So the thing that I'm going to is kind of like an afternoon tea. So it's just like a casual afternoon tea with some girls, so I'm just going to do something pretty natural. I'll just make it up as I go along and have a chat. So here we go. As you can see, I've got this massive red patch here, which is just wonderful. That's just because I did an extraction this morning and it's still a bit pissed off about it. So I'm going to go in with primer, I think, at first, just to get things going. Hopefully that'll settle it down. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Base Magique primer just all over my face. I tend to concentrate this more on my T-zone area because it is quite thick, it's like really pasty. So I tend to concentrate that here where all my large pores are. Because it is so pasty, it's really good at just filling in all those big gargantuan pores I have. And I'll just try and smooth whatever's left on my fingers around the rest of my face. I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed as I've been getting older that I'm starting to get these pretty bad wrinkles here because I must do this a little too much, too much concentrating. And I find this kind of primer that's really thick does a really good job at like evening that out as well. Like it doesn't just fill in pores. Like normally my main concern with primer is filling in my pores and making sure that my skin is really smooth. But it's also really good at filling in lines like up here, or maybe if you have some around the outside of your eyes as well. I find that to be super helpful, and it helps with like your concealer and foundation to look a lot more smooth. Because once the wrinkles are there, whatever you put on it, it's just gonna accentuate them. Next, what shall we do next? Let's go with foundation. I've been sticking to the, what's it called? The Revlon Color Stay foundation a lot of late. I was trying to use other ones for a while and so I stayed away from it, but lately I've just come back to it and remembered how good it is. I use this one, which is for the normal to dry skin, in the shade Buff, or the 150. This is the perfect neutral tone. It's not too pink or orange, it's just right. So I'm just going to use a beauty blender to pop that on. Do excuse my messy, terrible, worn out beauty blender. I do need a new one. But you know, just need to make another trip to Sephora to get a brand new one because this one's just well worn. It doesn't matter how much I clean it now, it's had enough. So just gonna bounce this in. I mean, you can see already from where I have applied it how much it neutralizes my skin. Because I do have quite a bit of redness, it just makes it calm down and takes all the red out, which is fantastic. For years I used to think that I had pink skin because my face was so pink, and so I was like, okay, I'll get pink undertones. But then I started to notice that my neck and my chest are actually quite neutral, like white to yellow. And so the pink on my face actually really stood out. So I've learned to go for more natural to yellow foundations to negate the redness, I guess, and to calm it down, so that my face now matches my neck and chest a bit better. This extraction, it's not happy. That's alright, we'll sort that out later with concealer. Speaking of concealer, I'll move on to that now. What shall we use? I'm going to go for something different. I want to use the Maybelline Fit Me, but I'm going to push myself outside of it. I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Conceal instead. You would have seen this in my last video with all the concealers. And I'm going to apply this with a mini beauty blender. So what I do is I just squeeze it onto the tip of the beauty blender, just a tiny bit, because a lot goes a long way, and then just pop that under my eyes. This is a little bit on the peachy pink side, which is good for making my under eyes seem a lot brighter than they are. Up into the nose. And whatever's left on the Beauty Blender I like to pop on my nose as well, just to cover that extra redness that I get. I'm just going to use a little bit of that on my extraction as well, just to help cover up that redness. Something I learned recently was that I would set my makeup too soon after applying concealer, and so my concealer would go orange. Any of the fair skinned girls out there would find this as well, possibly. It wouldn't matter how white my concealer was. If I put on powder straight away, it would turn this area completely orange, which looked awful. So I've learned recently that that's a typical thing of liquid concealers. And the way that I get around it is to let it set first before I touch it with powder. So my routine now is to let that concealer settle in. I then move on to my brows and do that instead, just while my skin kind of absorbs all the liquid, and then go over it with powder. And I find that it's just a lot better. It seems to fix that problem for the most part anyway. So onto brows. I'm going to use the NYX Tame and Frame Pomade. This is drying out a bit. I do need to get some Duraline, but again, I just need to make a shopping trip actually. Go to Sephora, go to Inglot. Need to do all of that, but that's alright. We'll make do in the meantime. Alright, brows. Come at me. I actually really need to get my brows done again. So that makes doing my brows a little tricky, although all the more important to create shape that I don't have. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly run through. I was gonna put powder through, but I think I'm gonna leave it, and I'm just gonna get a little spoolie and just run it through because it does seem a little bit, my hairs just seem a little bit chunky from the pomade, so I'm just gonna brush that through to soften it a bit and just to make it a bit neater. My eyebrows are always a little bit uneven just because my eyes are so different, but I've learned just to accept it. It is what it is. They look okay. Like this one's always a bit straighter than that one, and it's really hard to kind of balance it out, but I find for the most part people don't notice, and when my fringe is out, it's fine. Now brows are done, I'm gonna set my face and concealer. So I'm gonna use, which one? I'm gonna go with the Australis Ready Set Go finishing powder in translucent. Ooh. Let's see. I'm gonna start with this little tapered brush by Elf, doesn't really have a name, to set my under eyes. Brush off all the excess. I find this is really important as well with avoiding the orange cast under here, is to make sure you only have the slightest amount of product and just to sweep it really softly. All the tapping, alright. Now, get a bigger, fluffier brush. This is the powder brush by Zoeva, the 106, if you're interested. Same deal, get all the excess powder off and dust away. I quite like the dabbing motion more than the sweeping motion. I don't know, I feel like it just presses into the skin better. Like press, 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 and then sweep it around for blending it out. Get some on my forehead as well. La 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 la. This always makes me feel like a Disney movie, like Cinderella or something, when she's getting ready. I feel like I should be singing. Alright. Okay. Oh my gosh, I hate this lid. It's like the hardest thing to screw back on. Ah. Okay. Sweet. Let's do some contour before I get distracted with my eyes. I always find that my eyes take the longest amount of time, and once I start, I could be there for an hour, no problem. So, you know, I just have to do other things first, otherwise I may run out of time. Just gonna get the Face Shape brush by Zoeva, the 110. Quite like this for contouring. I don't really like the straight brushes. I feel like there could be a better brush out there, but I'm still on the hunt for one. So, for the contour shade, I'm going to take my Smashbox Shape Matters palette, ever so grubby, and just get the contour shade from that. And then just chisel the cheeks away. What I love about being a redhead, or a version of a redhead, is that these contour shades, because they're like slightly tan usually, they work really well for filling in my hairline, making it seem a bit fuller. You know, same goes for bronzer, like it's the right shade for my hair to fill in any sparse areas of my hairline, which is super helpful. Yeah, it's alright. Happy with that. Oh, I don't like to get too pedantic with contour because I feel like you just make it worse and worse the harder you try. So I'm just going to leave it like that. How are we going for time? Yeah, plenty of time. Okay. I'm going to leave highlight till the very end, just because I don't know what I'm going to do with my eyes yet. So I'll move on to eyes now. Let's see. What do I want to do? Let's go with... Right, so I've got my Makeup Geek shadows here. And I'm going to go with... Let's get a blending brush first. Where are you? Oh, where blending brush? Okay, I literally can't find my massive fluffy blending brush. So I'm going to go for the slightly smaller one because I make do. Gonna start off with Peach Smoothie, this one here, because it's nice and sunny and it will brighten my eyes a little bit, and because I don't want anything too like harsh or I don't know, I just want something bright and friendly looking. So I'm just going to put that in my crease to warm that up and define it just a little bit. Lots and lots of blending. Blending is life. So because I have hooded lids, you'll see that I'm putting the transition a little bit higher than most people. Like instead of being right in here, I'm going just above it just to kind of create a higher crease than I have. This is something I struggle with a lot because I don't want to get too close to the eyebrow because I think it looks too much like, you know, Mimi from the Drew Carey show. It's like I'm so scared of looking like that I get really scared, but then I've got to remember that if I put it too low, no one's going to see it. So just got to be brave, you know, just do it. Just take a deep breath and just go for it. Go for gold. Can always fix it. Does anyone else make up songs for like when they're doing their makeup? Seems to help, you know. Next, I'm gonna get this small crease brush. And what do I even want to do? I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking because it's a casual afternoon tea, I'm not going to do any glitter. We'll keep it real chill. So I'm going to go all mattes. That condenses my options a little bit. So in that case, whoa, I'm going to get a flat packing brush and I'm going to go, ooh, decisions. What do we want to do? What am I wearing? Black and white. So wait, I can do what I want. Right, decided. I'm gonna go with this one right here. It's called Pedal Pusher, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. Yes, Pedal Pusher. This little purple mid-tone type colour. So I'm just gonna grab some of that on this packing brush and pop it all over my lid. Again, with this part of putting on eyeshadow, I still have the same problem where I don't put it high enough because I get afraid of it looking bad, but it's actually needed. So you have to keep checking myself because my tendency is to keep it too low and then it looks funny, so I've just got to keep going up and up and up and up beyond where I think it's okay. It's like with blending, it's like you can blend, but when you think you finish blending, you actually need to keep blending. So same kind of thing, it's like I go up far enough and then I go, no, I actually need to go up more. Now I'm going to go back in with some more peach smoothie just to make that a little bit more warm in the transition and to balance out the cool tones. I like mixing cool tones and warm tones together. Alright, so that's lacking dimension a little bit, so I'm gonna get the small crease brush I had before and I'm gonna grab this shade right here, which is called Bedrock. It's like this really nice grey, which is like, how can grey be nice? But honestly, I just love using this to add some depth without it being too harsh, because brown and black seem to be a bit too full on, but the grey is like subtle enough and neutral enough that it looks really natural. So I'm just going to pop that in the crease ever so carefully, just to add some depth to my non-existent crease of my eye. I'm just going to fill in the corner as well, just to help define that. So we're gonna get pencil brush and I'm gonna get some black. Should I do black? Yeah, I'll do black. So I'm getting Corrupt by Makeup Geek and I'm just gonna put that along my lash line. So start with the top. This is ever so important if you have light coloured lashes like me, because mascara alone will not get close enough to the root of my lashes, and so there's always a gap along my lash line, and so it always looks a bit funny. So shadow, I find, is the best way to build up definition along the lash line, because even with like liner it doesn't get close enough and it looks a bit weird. So just by smudging shadow in, it just helps fill in that lash line to make it look fuller and more defined. Ta-da! It's like watering like crazy, but it's okay, I promise. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. I feel like I need some softening up though. So I'm gonna get, what is this? The small crease brush I used earlier. And I'm just gonna get this color, which is Frappe. Just tap tap and then smudge out the lower lash line. Just to soften that and make it connect up a little better. The other side. I think that's it for the eyes, or the eyeshadow. I don't want to go too overboard because it is pretty chill. Oh, what I will do though, got this teeny tiny little brush here, which you can't even see, and I'm going to get Ice Queen, which is this white one up the top. It's got like reflex in it, so it's like a shimmery white, and I'm going to put that in my inner corner just to add some pop. This also makes a good highlight on the Cupid's bow if you want something like really bright. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit on now. Just going to try some everyday lashes and see. It's still pretty light. Let's try this pair. My might be a little full on. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the 110 Naturals by Ardell. So let's put on some light mascara. I'm gonna go with the Maybelline Great Lash. Remember that if you get any mascara where it shouldn't be on your eye, then just trick is to not touch it, just let it dry. And then once it's dry, it'll come off real quick with a Q-tip. If you try to take it off while it's still wet, it'll just smudge everywhere and you'll be sad. Don't make mascara face. Don't make mascara face. While that's setting, I'll put a little bit of blush on. What colour do we want today? I've got purple and orange on my lids. So I might go for like a peach. What's this one? Bliss? Yeah. Get a brush. I'm gonna grab Bliss, which is this one on the top right, which is like a good peach color. It's like in between pink and orange. I'm just gonna dust that here. Add some life to my cheeks. Feeling like my under eyes are still very dark, so I'm just gonna go back to the Smashbox Shape Matters palette and grab the matte highlighting shade and just pop that under here to brighten those under eye area just a little bit more. Now for some lashes, as I believe that the mascara is relatively dry. So as I said, I'm just going to grab the Ardell 110 Natural Lashes. They're not much thicker than my own. They look like this. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. They're not much thicker than my own, but the idea is that it'll just thicken up what I've got going on here. Alright, let's go. Going in. Alright, 2 hands are required. Now don't touch it. I've learned not to fiddle too much. Fiddle a little bit, you know, gotta get it right, but for the most part you just gotta let it do its thing. So I'm just gonna let them set. Ooh, lip balm, that's a good idea before I put lip stuff on. Yeah. This is the Mario Badescu lip wax. Looks like this. It's really nice. It's like oil in a bar form. Okay, this thing, little brow lash comb thing. I like to just brush through the lashes after I apply them, just to make sure that they're combined, the falsies with the natural lashes. And in case there's any clumpy bits of glue or whatever, it just brushes it off. I'm gonna pull this out now. Highlighter, that's what we're forgetting. Just gonna go with the classic Mary Luminizer by The Balm because it's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of highlighters I like, but this one's just, it's always beautiful. A little bit down the bridge of the nose. So last thing is lips. What do I want to do? Alright, okay, decision's made. I'm going to use this Rimmel lipstick in the shade 42. Does it have a name? No. Rosetto? Maybe? Looks like this. Beautiful nude. Absolutely love it. Just going to chuck that on top. It's not the most long-lasting lipstick. It does tend to fade quite quickly, but even as it fades, it stains the lips a little bit, so I'll still have colour as it fades away. So yeah, I think we're done. That's the completed look. A little bit girly and fresh. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today while I get ready. It certainly makes it a lot more enjoyable than just talking to myself, as I do. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.